Reason I wanted to jump on and talk about tonight is just the aspect of, are you actually planning things? Are you actually prepping and planning of the direction you actually want to go? Consider for a moment, it's late, so I'm tired. But consider for a moment, the majority of people don't actually plan anything. They don't actually plan their future. They don't actually plan the direction they want to go. And what I mean by planning is not just like, oh, I want to go to this school, I want to go to this job, all this kind of things. I'm talking about the actual goals that you have in your life. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist turned abuse recovery coach to be able to help you actually break free of the toxic relationship. But it's not enough just to break free. The goal is to be able to set you up for life, to transform how you actually are. And part of this means you have to have goals and vision and values of who you actually want to be. Now, if I sat you down, we talked for a while, you could probably come up with a lot of different ideas and thoughts. And if I sat you down, you might have a really good understanding of everything that you don't want in your life, everything that you don't like in your life. But how often do you get very clear of what you do want? The reality that you actually want to have in your life? Most people don't. Most people don't take the time to actually get focused on what they want, what it looks like, how it actually is, how it feels, all this kind of pieces. Then inside of this, the goal of actually planning ahead is to be able to say, what's the goal? What's the direction that I actually want to go? How do I want to live? How do I want to show up? How do I want to be? And I've done this process several times. And this process is what we call impossible games. Then impossible games is the idea where it's setting up goals across 4 domains, 4 areas: body, the physical aspect; being, the spiritual aspect; balance, relationships; and business, money and the money mindset. All of this being goals that when you put all 4 on the table, you're like, that seems pretty impossible. But when we start actually opening up the door to seeing how you actually step through it, one step at a time, all of a sudden the possible becomes very possible. Now, this piece inside of here is difficult because a lot of people will only live one-dimensional life. And what I mean by that is they'll have one area of their life that's working really well. Then they'll have other areas that are just falling apart or that are disintegrating. Inside of this, I want to be able to help you actually rise up into all areas of your life. This is why we focus on 4 domains: body, being, balance, and business. We focus on how do we actually help you move every single domain. You can have somebody who's big into fitness and they're focused on what they're actually doing. They're focused on working out. They're focused on running. They're focused on eating healthy, all this kind of stuff. And they might have the body piece dialed in, but they might not have a connection with God. And so they're struggling to be able to figure out what that actually looks like. You have someone who is struggling inside their relationship. They've been in a toxic relationship. They've been in toxic love. Like they've been in all different types of trauma, and they have a solid relationship with God. You have someone who is crushing it at business. Like you're doing a really great job in leading your teams and running that. And at the same time, you're kind of incongruent because you feel one way in business, but then behind the scenes, you're like, I can't even figure out my relationship because I keep going back to a guy who keeps cheating on me. So what I want you to understand is there's a lot of people that can dial in one area: body, being, balance, and business, one area. There's not a whole lot of people that can dial in 2, 3, and definitely not 4. What I've been learning, what I've been discovering over the past couple of years is how to actually start tracking and actually start moving the needle on all 4 areas of life. So body, dialing in how I'm actually showing up, the energy, the physical fitness, dialing in my hormones, my testosterone, like my supplements, all different types of things to make sure that I'm showing up powerful for who I am. Inside of being, my connection with God, developing a deep connection with God, being able to talk to God, connect with God, not just in prayer, but also in meditation and stacking and doing things that I know every single day are going to dial me into who I actually am. And inside of balance, it's been absolutely life-changing. Like the relationship I have with my wife right now, light years ahead of what I ever could have dreamed, imagined a couple years ago. Like us being able to talk through questions and talk through like difficult subjects, massive. And inside of business, I've grown and developed in learning how to be able to manage money, how to be able to actually grow a business, how to be able to think through a piece of scarcity versus abundance. All of this I'm saying here because what I've noticed is in playing this and in going through this process of actually rising up into all 4 domains, body, being, balance, and business, I've seen a ton of my life transform. And not just mine. I've seen a lot of clients transform as well because what we've done is actually walk them through the same exact process of stepping up of where they actually want to go a year from now and then how we're actually going to achieve that. 1 month at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time. When you get laser focused and laser clear on your goals, a lot of times the obscurity, the frustration, the confusion, the overwhelmedness of how big the goal is starts to fall away. If you have a giant goal and we break it down in 6 months, and we break it down in a month, and we break it down in a week, and we break it down in a day, the things that you're doing The steps that you're making, one step at a time, is very, very small. But the results compounded over time are massive. This is what I've seen. Then inside of all of this, I want to be able to offer an opportunity for you to be able to actually move forward in this process. This isn't a piece of healing. We're not focused on this healing inside of this. What I'm focused on is helping you actually plan and script out 2025 so you can actually rise forward and move with passion, with productivity, and with purpose. Because many people don't have goals. They don't write down goals. They don't track goals. They don't communicate goals, and they're not accountable to goals. What if you had all those pieces dialed in? You knew exactly who you are, who you want to be, and you could actually run after that with clarity every single time. I want to invite you into a conversation with me, which will be going to rawmotivations.com/plan, Plan. Because I want you to consider how you're going to plan out 2025, how you're going to shift that year compared to this past year, how you're going to adjust, how you're going to show up for you. No longer being a victim, but being a survivor. No longer being a survivor, but being a thriver. No longer being a victim, but being the victor in your life. Inside of this piece, I want you to consider, do you actually plan? Are you actually prepping for the direction that you want to go in your life? For how you want to show up? For who you want to be? This opportunity, I'm really, really excited about. And part of the reason why I'm really excited about it is because I've never done an in-person event. Not on my own. I've done in-person events with other people. So January 3rd and January 4th, coming up in 2025, is going to be reset time. Setting up for 2025 and setting up your goals. Using the science behind what I actually use and what I've seen transform my life and hundreds of clients. Using the systems that we perfected to be able to help expand your horizons and your thought process, getting super clear on where you are versus where you want to go and the steps needed to actually be able to achieve that. Inside of this, I'm hosting a 2-day event, January 3rd, January 4th. There's 2 options. One is going to be in person, which is going to be in Orlando, Florida. The other piece is going to be virtual, where you can zoom in from any place in the world. The goal inside of this is to take time to get you dialed in. Get you dialed in on who you actually want to be. Like I said at the beginning, many of you already know how to be able to live really well in one domain. Maybe that's the physical, maybe that's the spiritual, maybe that's the relationships, maybe that's in the business. But being able to rise up in all 4, that's hard for a lot of people to see and for a lot of people to do. Like, I want you to consider this piece of you growing and developing doesn't come just from you simply running away from toxicity, taking back your power and standing up strong, but then you also have to have a purpose. You also have to have a direction that's pulling you. That can be helped with boundaries, that can be helped with goals, but ultimately needs to be helped with this consistency of you dedicating your life to unlocking and uncovering your purpose. You see, I believe everybody is on this earth for a God-given reason. I believe you're not here to be used and abused. I feel you're here to be able to internally expand who you are, to grow and develop how you show up for you. So inside of this event, it's January 3rd, January 4th. I'm just announcing it now. The website just went up, rawmotivations.com/plan, Plan. You can go there, you can check out, there's a video there. And if you're interested, move forward. The seats are limited, 8 total. It's gonna be a small group because I wanna make sure I spend time actually teaching and showing people the systems that work. We've already rolled this out to a couple clients, and we've already talked to several people that we work with that are already buying their tickets and already planning to come. So there's opportunity for 8 seats. Inside of this, what's going to happen is going to be a 2-day event. You're going to do pre-work before you even get to the event. The pre-work is going to be dialing you in on where are you actually right now. What in your life is working or not working across body, being, balance, and business. Then inside of Friday, we're going to spend some time getting really clear of where you are and where you want to go. And getting you clear on the vision, the purpose, the direction, having you actually dream a little bit. Step into a place where you haven't actually experienced because you haven't had the time, the energy, or the space to actually dream and plan farther out than just survival mode. Then Friday night, you're going to get an opportunity to be able to spend the night and have dinner with myself and my family, my wife and my kids. You'll get to meet them. We'll all go out to eat and just be a way to be able to connect and be able to show you, hey, this is my life. And inside of this, then we'll come back on Saturday. And Saturday will be dialing in the next steps. What actually needs to happen next? Inside of this, you'll be able to see some of the support, some of the groups, some of the communities that we have that support this exact system and that are playing this on a day-to-day, a week-to-week, a month-to-month basis. I have women that have set impossible games in 2024. And they set impossible games, and some of them hit some of them 6 months in. Some of them hit them 9 months in. Some of them are still wrapping up some of theirs. But the whole thing is they would not have hit these goals if they hadn't been laser focused setting them and keeping them, tracking them, being accountable to them, and moving forward. Each month, then we redial these back in. It's not a piece where I'm asking you to figure out what's the entire plan for the entire year. We don't care about that. We care about where you are, where you want to go. What's the first step? What's the first mission that needs to happen the first month? What's the first thing that you need to do? Break it down into 4 weeks, break it down 7 days. Let's make it happen. If you're interested in knowing more about this, you can go to rawmotivations.com/plan. I want to invite you to this event, January 3rd, January 4th, an opportunity where you can either engage virtually or you can engage in person. If it's going to be in person, then you're going to be coming to Orlando, Florida. You're going to be here for Friday and Saturday. You're going to fly in Thursday, leave Sunday. Friday and Saturday, we'll provide lunch, and Friday night, you'll have dinner with myself and my family. The goal inside of this is getting you laser focused on who you are and who you're called to be. If this resonates with you at all, then I want you to go to rawmotivations.com/plan. Check out the video. If it resonates, sign up, and I'll see you there. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. Thanks for letting me just share that. Excited about it. Brand new, never done before, but I'm excited to be able to put this together. We've done a lot of these virtually, but being able to actually be in person and virtual at the same time, super exciting. So excited to be able to see you guys and be able to talk to you then. If you want to know more about what we're doing, go to rawmotivations.com/plan, and we'll talk later. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful night. Y'all take care.